1741, Part 1, Take 1.
Oh, don't put another one on. I'm having a barren moment. I want to savor it.
How about an excerpt from The Waste Land to help you along?
Oh, I can manage, thanks.
Drink?
Large. Are you joining me this time?
Not if I'm driving.
What has happened to you?
Jenny, love, this is London, not our island in the sun. Barristers cannot afford to tangle with the law over little things like breathalyzers and blood tests. It just wouldn't do.
Oh, for God's sake. Do you know, I don't know how you can stand it.
It has its compensations.
You mean it's a living?
Yes. I also like the job, occasionally.
Well, I'm sure you find it very rewarding. But then I wouldn't know, having never earned a living in my life.
True. But you manage if you have to, and if you don't have to, why bother?
Oh, don't be so damn patronising,
Jenny,
Lloyd.
I'm not
Look,
being...
I thought you'd have jumped at the idea of coming with me, doing what you like in your own time.
It's a great idea.
But... No, it's a long way to come to be turned down flat. Well, at least I still have my return flight booked for the morning.
Jenny, you don't have to leave London.
Yes, I do.
Jenny.
It was good, wasn't it, last summer?
It was very good.
Well, then.
Well, then, I can't just drop everything and get on the first plane, not even for you.
Look, if it's money...
I told you last year, it's your body I'm after, not your money.
Can't you settle for both?
Yes, I could, very easily. But how long could I go on just living off you?
Don't be silly.
It's not that simple. I've told you. It's a great idea, but I can't just change my whole life because you turn up out of the blue and say, let's go. I mean, I've got a lot on my mind. Give me time to think, and it has to be my decision. Don't push me. Now, come on. What about some dinner?
No, I'm not hungry.
Oh, don't give me
But
a
all right. But then you can drive me to a hotel.
Jennifer.
Look, it would only make it more difficult to leave in the morning. And what's the point?
Damn.
I thought you were careful of the law.
Not to the point of idiocy.
Nice acceleration. We'll have him right, Sarge.
Lived your life like a candle in the wind.
No, thanks. I've given it up. Oh, terrific. What? Behind.
End of a perfect day.
Right.
Leave it, Joe. I'll see to it.
What is this?
Just do as I say. Leave it.
Well, well, well. Of all people.
Mr. Elliot. Steady, steady. You all right, sir?
Yes, I'm fine. I just got my bloody foot caught in the seatbelt. There's nothing like making a good impression, is there? Elliot.
All right, Blake. Blake!
Well, bye-bye, Miss Elliot.
Yes, thanks a lot, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yes.
Well,
Forget it.
you recognized him.
And we overtook.
That's the bastard who got me put on this bloody job.
Well, there's no sense in looking for trouble.
He's a friend of yours, is he?
Let's move.
He's a bit unsteady, wasn't he?
Just drive.
I remember the case vaguely. You made the papers. Letters to the editor, questions about police methods.
Yes, that's the man. Ex-Detective Constable Joe Blake, sitting there large as life behind the wheel of a patrol car.
It was a jewel robbery, wasn't it?
Yeah. Diamonds. My man was supposed to have blown a safe in Hatton Garden. He'd sure as hell done it before, and he'd probably done it since, but that time there was doubt. Detective Constable Joe Blake, however, was not the man to take maybe for an answer.
What did he do? Plant evidence on your man?
No, but he was too keen to get a conviction. He knew there was an element of doubt, and he did his best to cover it.
Nothing unusual in that.
Ah, it depends how you go about it. Blake was very thorough in demolishing the defense alibis before bringing the case. In fact, a couple of the witnesses claimed they got thumped, fell down the station steps, as Blake put it.
It couldn't have been good for his image. What did you do? Accuse him of violence?
No, that was the second thing. First of all, I got him to agree with a lot of people that it would be a very good idea if justice were more in the hands of the police and less in the hands of the lawyers. Oh. Yes. The moment I heard the scratching of pens from the press bench, I knew I was home and dry.
Very clever.
Yeah. I'm told he had the makings of a good detective. If only he could have controlled his enthusiasm.
So they demoted him.
No, not demoted. Not technically. They transferred him to traffic control. Better for their image and less tempting for him. Which one of these is you?
Second from the left.
What?
I moved. Lucky for you, his sergeant's a chum of yours.
Whether I jump those lights or not is a matter of pure opinion.
I have a pretty good idea what Joe Blake's opinion would have been.
So, giving me a ticket might have made him feel better. At least I was stone cold sober. That would have taken the edge off his fun.
Yeah? No, I'm just leaving. Yes, he is. I'll remind him. Thanks. James, Bill... James.
Sorry.
It's after 10.
Ah, would I keep a judge waiting?
Yes, if you don't get a move on. What's so fascinating out there?
Nothing.
Come on, Joe. It might never happen.
Very true, Betty, love. On the other hand...
You might be out of the house when it does.
Where's old Ted this morning? Still in bed?
We should be so lucky. He's taken it into his head to mend a couple of fuses. And you know him. I'm expecting us all to go up in a blue flash any minute.
Never mind, love. With a bit of luck, he might only do for himself. That'll leave you and me with a clear field, eh?
Oh, yes. Except for all the competition.
There's not a chance, love. There's nobody in sight.
Try pulling the other one, Joe. It's got bells on. Still, it's a nice thought.
Thanks for coming, Sam. Look, I've got one in for you.
Oh, thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, then. What do you make of it? About last night?
Interesting story, Joe.
Look. Elliot stumbled when he got out of that car.
Could be he did catch his foot in the seatbelt. You couldn't see. Maybe he did.
Yeah, maybe.
My advice is the same as Charlie Thompson's. Forget it.
Oh, thanks. That's great, that is.
Now, look, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Stay out of bother.
Don't go looking for it. Maybe Charlie Thompson did his mate a favor. Maybe not. I'd take a lot of convincing that he did. Either way, you're in no position to go stirring it up.
I just don't like to see them get away with it, that's all.
Them? Be honest, Joe. It's Elliot you're after. I'd feel the same, Joe, after what Elliot did to you. If it weren't for him, you'd still be in crime. Probably with your stripes up already. Instead of me, more than likely.
Look, Sam, he's a sitting duck. He was crossing a red light and bloody well nearly falling flat in his face when we stopped him.
Listen, you want to get back into crime, don't you? That is still what you want, isn't it?
What else do you think I'm hanging on in the force for?
So that's what matters, getting you back. Now, Joe, think. How's it going to sound in front of the brass? You accusing Charlie Thompson of not breathalyzing a chap you give your right arm to see nailed. For a start, where's your evidence? Where's your witness?
What, was a girl in the car?
Oh, well, in that case, I take it all back. There's no problem, it's there. He had his girlfriend with him. I mean, she's going to come right out on your side,
All
isn't
right,
she?
Sam, all right.
Just let things take their course nice and quiet. You'll be back in CID. Just keep your nose clean, your head down, and your mouth shut.
Sam, look.
Steady on.
In the mirror there, in the next bar.
That's him.
Yeah, that's Elliot. Do you see what I see?
Joe, hold it now.
It's all right, Sam, it's all right. I'm just going to wander in, dead casual like, see which one of them blushes first. Don't worry.
It's always locked during opening time, mate. You'll have to go around.
How long you been in here, Ted?
About 10 minutes. I'm trying to find a fuse that's blown upstairs.
Did you see who's in there?
Yeah, well, Charlie Thompson and that young lawyer fella.
Did they see you?
No, they were sitting at the table around the corner. Why?
How did you see them then?
Well, they moved to the bar for a minute. Didn't look this way, though.
Did you hear what they said?
Well, what's this about, Joe?
What did they say, Ted? Come on. Just between you and me. What did you hear, Ted?
I thought Joe had left.
No, he'll be back. Have one yourself, love.
Oh, bless you, dear. No, thanks, I'm off it again. Doctor's orders.
Oh, you want to take care with that ticker of yours? Don't let old Ted be overworking you, or I'll have words with him.
Oh, if Ted had his way, I'd be a permanent bloomin' invalid, wrapped up in cotton wool and in a wheelchair.
Sam, come in here a minute, will you?
What's going on?
Right, Ted. Tell him what you heard. Just the way you told me.
Get these to the post, Rosie.
Righto, Mr. Coletti.
And quick as you can, there's all that copying yet.
Yes, Mr. Coletti.
Yeah? Mr. Elliot? Well, I'm not quite sure whether Mr. Elliot's free at the moment. Might I ask who's calling him? Oh, I see. Well, if you hold on a moment, Superintendent, I'll see what I can do. Mr. Elliot, sorry to disturb you. There's a Superintendent Miller on the phone wanting to speak to you. Well, he didn't say. No, the name means nothing to me either. He did say it was important, though. Okay, sir. Superintendent, I'm putting you through now.
Yes, but if you can give me some idea what it's about, Superintendent, we can probably save it. What? Yes, all right. If you'd rather not on the phone, then why don't you come to my chambers? I presume you know where I am. Well, yes. All right, my flat, then. What about 7 o'clock? Yes, fine. I'll give you the address.
Interesting, Bill?
Oh, Miss Peterson, I was just Well, I thought maybe
Maybe you could. And maybe you could get on to Todmore and Marsden for me. Ask Richard Clark to check these figures and make an appointment for him to see me in the morning.
Yes, Miss Peterson.
I shall be out until around 5, and then I'll look in for any messages. I take it you'll be manning the telephone.
I'm seeing Elliot tonight, 7 o'clock.
I still don't think it makes sense, sir. That sort of risk, just to get off a drunk driving charge. A fine and 12-month ban.
Except that Mr. Elliot happens to be an ambitious young barrister with his sights on the top. And a conviction for drunk in charge doesn't help one little bit if you're applying to become a QC. And even less if you have hopes of reaching the bench in time.
Are we sure that's what he wants?
I'm sure enough he'd want to keep his options open. I know. I don't like it any more than you do, Sergeant Reed. No, I've no profound objection to screwing a fly young barrister who thinks he's above the law, but I'll take a lot of convincing that a copper like Charlie Thompson would take money to forget a charge. However, we can't just wipe out what you and Constable Blake saw. Neither can we overlook the fact of 50 quid in new notes in Sergeant Thompson's pocket, directly traceable to Mr. Elliot's bank. And I suppose we can't just refuse to believe what the landlord of that pub said he heard. 50 and worth every penny. I must have been out of my mind to drive in that state. Thank God it was you that picked me up. Yes, it's not the sort of thing we can just sweep under a carpet, is it, Sergeant? Nor would we contemplate trying, would we? If you wouldn't mind, sir, answering the question?
Well, of course I mind, Superintendent. I'm not accustomed to answering questions unless I'm given a very good reason for doing so.
But you don't deny that you gave Sergeant Thompson £50?
No, I don't deny it, though how you happen to know about it is still. That's neither here nor there. It was a private matter, but certainly not a matter for secrecy. I think I know what's behind your question and who.
Well, in that case, sir...
Yes, all right, why not? As you also probably know by now, Sergeant Thompson has a brother. He's a builder's merchant in West London. I have a country cottage which I'm renovating. My builders had failed to get hold of certain fittings that were needed. Sergeant Thompson volunteered to put his brother onto it for me.
So you've known Sergeant Thompson for some time, sir?
A matter of months, that's all. As you well know, the Rose and Crown is patronized by men from your station. I occasionally drop in there on the way home. It's really as simple as that.
No, sir. I'm afraid it's not quite as simple as that. I must ask you to accompany me to the station, where you'll be formally charged with corruption. Do you wish to say anything, sir? You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence. If you're ready, sir, I have a car outside.
Yes. Thank you for letting me know, Mr. Morley. Yes, of course. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, Miss Peterson. I've been trying Mr. Elliot's flat. There's still no reply. I've had to give the Lindsay brief to Mr. Carter. Is anything wrong?
Yes, Bill, very wrong. Mr. Elliot was arrested last night. Terence Morley's appearing for him this morning at Bow Street on a charge of bribing a police officer.
Yeah, but that's... Arrested?
That's exactly how I feel.
I beg your pardon, Miss Peterson.
Stay where you are.
Bribing a police officer?
Over a traffic offence, they're alleging. Mr. Elliot is supposed to have given a police sergeant £50 not to breathalyze him. The sergeant's been charged with accepting the bribe.
Witnesses?
The fact that Mr. Elliot appeared drunk. One constable. Well, he'd be no trouble. He has a personal grudge against Mr. Elliot from the past. But the handing over of the money, that's a different matter altogether. I don't like the look of that one little bit.
You couldn't go to Bow Street?
No. I was listed in the Court of Appeal all morning, though God knows how I managed to keep my mind on the case.
But he got bail, right?
£2,000 in his own recognizance. At least he's had the presence of mind to get himself a solicitor who does a lot of police work.
Well, what difference does that make?
It means that Terence Morey is the kind of man who can ask certain people certain questions. Strictly and formally, of course. See, normally when a prisoner's remanded, he hears nothing except the charge against him. It's not until just before committal for trial he hears any details of the prosecution case.
Well, I didn't think James would allow anything to destroy his presence of mind, at least not when it's a question of knowing which strings to pull. It doesn't sound very good, does it, in the circumstances?
There's a world of difference between pulling strings and offering bribes.
There you are, sir. 15, if you please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Ted. Any risk of getting a drink, then?
Yeah, of course, Joe. What'll it be? Usual?
Yeah, usual. Bet you're not down today, then?
No, she wasn't feeling too well this morning.
Oh, dear.
Told her she'd better rest up a bit. Take it easy for a while.
Yeah, that's right, Ted. You see she does. You see she takes very good care of herself.
Don't you worry, Joe. I'll see to it.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Rosie, if you can't stop that noise, you better take the rest of the day off. You stop driving me round the bend.
I'm sorry, Mr. Coletti. I can't help it.
Oh, go on, make yourself a cup of tea. And bring me one as well, will you, while you're about it?
Yes, Mr. Coletti.
Oh, Mr. Elliot.
Afternoon, Bill. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's, I'm sure everyone understands, sir.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Would you care for a cup of tea? Rosie's just making some.
Oh, is that what she was trying to tell
Well,
me?
she's a bit upset, you know, about
Yes.
everything. If I may just say, well, if there's anything that I can... You know what I mean.
Yes,
Mr.
thank you very much, Bill. And I'm very grateful, but I think for the moment we'll just carry on as usual. That will be the best thing, don't you agree?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, what happened to the Lindsay brief?
Oh, Mr. Carter was able to hold the fort there.
Fine. Well, I'll get down there and take over.
Oh, they settled before lunch. 30,000. It was all over much sooner than we thought.
Oh. Well done, Mr. Carter. Now, as I remember, I have a conference, so I better have a look at that paperwork.
Sir, the conference has been cancelled.
Now, there was no need for that, Bill. You should have known I wouldn't be all day.
Oh, it wasn't me.
I see. They called you.
Well, I imagine their client decided not to proceed.
It'll be interesting to find out, won't it? In the meantime, you might let it be known that I'm still here, my faculties unimpaired, and available for work.
Yeah,
and I will have that cup of tea, Bill. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Hello, overseas telegrams, yes. I would like to send a cable, please. What? 391 7713. Elliot. The name is Dean, Jenny Dean, Jenny with a Y, Dean with an E. Yes? And the address is 2929 Piazza di Spagna. Yes? Spagna, S-P-A-G-G-N-A, Spagna, yes, Rome, Italy. Message reads, imperative you contact me immediately, stop. Repeat the word imperative, stop, come in. Yes, and sign it, Love, James. Yes, please, if you would. That's it, thank you very much, that's right, thank you. Thank you, Rosie.
Sir?
Rosie?
Sir?
Nothing. Just, thank you for the tea. Hello, Harriet.
to see you back, James.
Ah, you don't mind, then?
Mind? Why should I? These are your chambers. You've every right to practice your profession.
Just like any other barrister on remand on a criminal charge.
Sorry, I wasn't in court.
Well, that's all right. I knew you'd be busy.
You should have phoned me last night.
Well, why ruin your evening as well as my own?
They kept you in the cells overnight?
Indeed they did. And that was a salutary experience, I can tell you. I assume you got all the details from my solicitor.
Terence Morley was a good choice.
I didn't do it, Harriet. The money was for Charlie Thompson's brother. He's a builder. He was getting me some fittings for the cottage.
Then you should have no difficulty proving it.
Except that the brother didn't know anything about it. Charlie was going to see him at the weekend. I said, here's 50 quid. See what you can pick up. Give me the change. Oh, come on. If you can't trust a copper, who can you trust? But that is what I said, Harriet, and that is what Charlie Thompson heard me say.
The pub landlord says he heard differently.
Ted Watson, yeah. I didn't even know he was there. It's Blake. He must have something on him.
Do you know that for a fact?
No, but that must be it. What possible motive could Ted Watson have for wanting to frame me?
Not frame you, perhaps, but Sergeant Thompson.
No, it's me. Blake wants my hide, and he is making Watson help him get it. But how? That's what I need to know.
It's not very much to go on, is it? And how do you prove it?
I don't know. There is one thing. Thank God. There was a girl with me in the car.
Oh?
Yes. And she can give evidence that I was stone cold sober. And if I was stone cold sober, why would I need to bribe a copper in the first place?
Have the police spoken to her?
No, nobody has. I've just sent her a cable. If my luck holds out, she will still be in Rome. If it doesn't, she could be anywhere in the world by now.
Mr. Thompson.
What's up, Ted? Jumpy?
You shouldn't be here, Mr. Thompson. Talking to me.
Why not? Public house, isn't it? I mean, a man can buy a drink in a public house. Not that it's barred. You're not barring me from the premises, are you?
I'll serve you, Mr. Thompson. What'll it be? Whiskey? Double?
Why do you do it, Ted? What's in it for you, eh?
Sorry, Mr. Thompson. I can't help you. Don't know what you mean.
Forget it, Ted. I'll do my drinking somewhere else.
Off, dear.
Here, what do you think you're playing at? You shouldn't be up. You heard the doctor. Plenty of rest.
Leave me alone, Ted. I can't be lying up there all day. Not unless you want me to die of boredom.
Oh, Betty.
I know how I feel, and right now I feel like seeing a bit of life. So just you stop worrying and let me get on with it. Yes, dear. Anything else for you?
Hope I'm not disturbing you, Mr. Elliot. I'm just passing by and I thought...
No, come in. Come in.
Tom.
Can I get you a drink?
Yeah, I'll have a whiskey, please. With a drop of water, you got it?
Ah.
I was wondering if you'd heard anything from this girlfriend of yours, Jenny.
Not a thing. I'm hoping for a phone call tonight. Sit down, Charlie. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
Is there any news from your end?
Nothing new. I've just gone over it and over it. Ted Watson's lying.
Oh, yes. Ted Watson's lying, all right. The trouble is we're the only two people who know. Have you checked? Has he got a record?
Clean as a whistle.
Oh. Then Joe Blake must have something that could put him behind bars.
No chance. Ted Watson's a lot of things, but he's not a villain. But he's a frightened man.
You've spoken to him?
Yes, I just dropped in for a minute.
No, you'd better leave that alone, Charlie. That is not going to help.
I just wanted to get a look at him, that's all.
Yes, all right. Ted Watson is frightened. But we still have to find out why, and we still have to prove it. And how the hell are we going to do that? Because I can't go strolling into that pub, and you're on suspension.
You don't have to tell me that. I know I'm on suspension. For 25 years, my pension's up next year. The wife and I, we thought the kid's gone. We get a little place in the country. And now I'm on suspension. But I've still got one or two mates down at Beale Street, Nick, and there's any bloody chance of anything breaking at all.
Hang on, Charlie. That could be the chance we're hoping for. Hello, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, all right, I'll wait. Charlie, we're in business. It's Jenny.
Thank God.
Yes, hello. Hello. Jenny, yes. Yes, thank God you got my cable. Listen, Jenny, I'll make this quick because this is important. I'm in trouble. Yes, you're going to have to come back to London and make a statement to the police. You might even have to appear in court as a witness. What do you mean you can't? Jenny, look, this is serious. It's not only me. Well, I think you had better explain. Of all the girls in London, I have to be with the one who isn't even officially in the country.
What do you mean? She used a false passport?
No, she didn't use a passport at all. She got on a flight from Rome to Paris, then a connection from Paris to Jersey. After Jersey, she didn't need a passport.
Well, what was the point of all that?
Money. If she comes back into the country before a certain date, she'll get skinned for tax on her mother's estate. Damn nearly every penny she's got.
I see. So if she appears in court swearing on oath she was in London on the day in question...
Large bureaucratic ears in small government offices will begin to twitch greedily.
So, James,
Oh, I
surely
told
the
her.
girl...
I made no bones about it, but Miss Dean is a very rich little girl, and she intends to stay that way.
On the whole, James, I'd say you're unfortunate in your choice of friends, wouldn't you?
It's not just for myself that I'm so bloody angry, but why should a decent, honest copper like Charlie Thompson have to suffer just because some spoilt little brat enjoys flying around the world on a magic checkbook she's never even lifted a finger to earn?
I thought you'd given up smoking.
I have.
Excuse me, Miss Peterson, you asked me to...
Yes, of course. Thank you, Bill. I have a conference before I'm in court. Are you...
Busy? No. Any little errands you'd like me to run?
I was hoping you'd manage without any attacks of self-pity, James. You won't find it helpful, and the rest of us won't find it pleasant.
I'm sorry, Harriet. No, really, I'm very sorry. Well, I suppose you can't really blame people for not wanting a barrister who's, well, you know...
James, I do understand, you know.
Yes, I know you do. The worst part of it was, last evening. Before Jenny called, my father rang. Read about the charge in the local paper. The last time I was mentioned was when I was called to the bar. Before that, when I won my open scholarship, local boy makes, etc., etc.
What did you say to him?
Oh, I told him it was all a misunderstanding, you know. Matters were in hand, solution guaranteed. So he could still show his face at the Rotary Club.
I got your message. How is she?
The doctor's with her now.
What happened?
You know your mother? She was supposed to rest, but she won't be told.
Like me, you mean?
No, Diane. Not like you. Not a bit like you.
Thanks, Dad. I'll go on up then.
Well, wait till the doctor's finished, can't you?
Wait. I didn't come to talk to you. I'll see you on my way out.
Hello, Blake. Mr. Blake. If you don't mind, Mr. Elliot. Constable Blake, if we're going to be particular. Yeah. Yes, let's be particular. Been waiting long, Mr. Elliot? Waiting? Now, why should I be waiting? I was just out for a constitutional. You going my way?
Yeah. Same way as I go every day when I come off from work.
Well, well. What a coincidence.
But what do you want?
I told you I was just out for a
Oh,
stroll.
yeah. And my father knew Lloyd George.
Perhaps that accounts for your remarkable powers of persuasion.
What's that supposed to
But
mean?
then again, I've some knowledge of the art of persuasion myself.
Oh, I see. You're going to persuade me, then, are you?
No, no, not this time. This time it'll be left to others, but I've every confidence.
Of what? Convincing a jury that you didn't slip Charlie Thompson 50 quid, eh? Is that your idea?
Not as a bribe.
Not a chance, Elliot. You're finished.
Every chance, especially when your star witness admits that he's lying.
Oh, but he's not going to, is he? Because he isn't lying, is he?
You'd really like to believe that, wouldn't you, Blake? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You'd rather the evidence prove what you wanted it to prove because there's still more of the copper in you than the crook. You'd prefer everything clean and above board, but if it doesn't work out that way, well, you're not going to let a minor technicality like evidence stop you, are you, Blake? No way.
My God. You've got a bloody nerve, Elliot, talking to me like that. You lawyer. Making a fat living out of twisting what people say till they don't know whether they're coming or going.
I don't sit in judgment, Blake. Part of my job is making sure that people like you don't either.
Yeah, and seeing that villains who belong behind bars go free. And honest coppers have broken their bloody backs trying to put them there.
End up in the same place. If that's where they belong. And that's a promise, Blake.
I'll see you rot, Elliot. That's a promise, too.
Where do I get all this rubbish? Here, Rosie. Look, sling this lot out. The rest of it I'm going to have to keep.
Yes, Mr. Elliot. Mr. Elliot?
Yes.
You're not moving out, are you?
No, I am not moving out. It will take a damn sight more than has been tried already to get me out of here. Now, come on. Hurry up, then you can help me put the rest of it in some sort of order.
Yes, Mr. Elliot.
Yes, Mr. Elliot. Oh. Yes, Bill. Yes, put him through. Hello, Charlie. Any developments? What? The landlord's daughter? What's that, some sort of limerick? No, I've never heard of her. Where does she come into it?
Diane Watson. Yes, a little cracker. At least she was a year or two ago, the last time I saw her.
An only child?
Apple of father's eye she was. He was always talking about her, you know, the money she was making, trips abroad.
What did she do?
Oh, she worked for a man called Frank Miller's. Property investment, interested in a couple of clubs.
I noticed you put all this in the past tense, Sergeant Thompson.
18 months ago, Frank Millers was sent down for 5 years. The charge was living on immoral earnings and keeping a disorderly house, one of the clubs. And that was the time that Ted Watson stopped talking about his beautiful and talented daughter.
He'd found out what her talent was for.
There was a raid, you see, and some of the girls were pulled in along with Mellors. There was no charge against them, of course, but it did put enough of a scare into one or two of them to testify against them in court.
Including Diane Watson?
Oh, 2 days before the raid, she went for a holiday in Spain. When she got back, it was all over.
Well, that's a nice coincidence.
Yes, and the next one is even nicer. The club was on Joe Blake's patch when he was in the CID, and Joe Blake was the arresting officer.
What have you been up to, Charlie? Stealing keys to the criminal files?
I told you, didn't I? After 25 years, I've still got 1 or 2 mates left on the force. Now, one of them is retired now, and he works for a big security firm. One of the places he looks after is a club called the Birdcage, which is the joint that was raided when Frank Millers was pulled in.
Where Diane Watson used to work?
Well, she still works, only she owns the place.
Is she on the same game?
Not quite. It's a bit of a clip joint now, you know, out-of-town trade, punters and motor show trade, whatever, you know, that sort of...
Well, it's a link. Ted Watson, Joe Blake, but where's it get us?
Maybe that Blake has something on the girl which gives him a hold over her father. But as for pinning it down in the time you've got...
Well, I wonder, wasn't worthwhile somebody tackling the girl? I mean, surely it's worth a try.
It's worth a try, Charlie, but it's very dodgy.
Exactly. You can go to the club and start asking questions. But if at the trial you've nothing more to show for your efforts than an attempt to smear the chief witnesses against you, it's going to make things a damn sight worse.
Somebody ought to have a go at her.
I agree.
But who?
Here, Jackie, love. Ta. Hi.
Hello.
What can I get you?
Do you have whiskey?
Sure.
I was beginning to wonder, looking at all that champagne.
Oh, no. That's only if you're with one of the hostesses. They only drink champagne.
Oh, I see.
Anything with it?
Just water. Thank you.
On the bill, or do you want to pay now?
Oh, I'll pay now.
Well, that'll be £1.
I think you better break that for me.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Nice to see you. Don't disturb yourself. Your first time down here, isn't it?
More or less.
My name's Diane. I run the place.
Oh, nice to meet you, Diane. May I offer you a drink?
Thanks. Sandra, give me an Americano, will you?
Yes, Miss Watson.
You haven't told me your name yet.
Ian. Robertson.
Nice to know you, Ian. I hope we'll be seeing you again.
Yes, let's hope so.
Do you live in London?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I have been down here before, just the once, or it must have been about, at least 3 years ago.
Why have you left it so long?
I'd been out of the country.
Anywhere nice?
Norway. Drilling for oil.
Oil? In Norway?
Well, it's a theory we had that one of the glaciers was floating on it, a vast sea of oil.
I've heard of North Sea oil, but Norway?
It didn't come to anything, unfortunately. We lost millions. Worse than drinking has done.
Thanks, Sandra. Ian, this is Sandra.
Sandra?
Here's your change, Ian. I've taken for both. 1, 2, and 50p.
Thank you.
Better luck next time, Ian.
What? Oh, yes. Thanks.
What are you drinking, Scotch?
Yes, it's Scotch.
Sandra, put another one in there for Ian. Double.
No, I'm fine as I am. Thank you.
On the house.
Oh, well, if you're twisting my arm. Actually, when I was here before, I came with a couple of friends, and one of them knew the chap who was running the place then. What was his name? Frank something. Mellors, that was it, Frank Mellors. Nice chap. I wondered if he'd still be here.
Like I said, I run it now. Frank's not been around for a while.
Oh, nothing happened to him, I hope. Thank you.
Happened?
Accident.
I expect he's all right. I wouldn't know. We've not kept in touch. Excuse me, Ian, won't you? I have to look after my other customers, you know. If there's anything you want, one of the girls to come over...
No, I'm fine, thank you. I'll just sit here, have a drink or two.
Okay. Nice to meet you. See you again.
Sure. Did I say something tactless?
Oh, no, not really.
I noticed your look in the mirror.
Sharp, aren't you?
Have a drink.
I'll have a bit of lemon.
Will a quid cover it?
Forget it. Only don't tell her.
It's a deal. So what's this thing about Mellors?
Between the two of us.
Of course.
He's inside.
Prison.
Nearly 2 years now.
So she's holding the fort.
Oh, no. She took the lease over.
Really? A lady of means.
She's made it all.
Really? How?
Well, how do you think? Look around you.
Oh, yes, I see.
She worked here for years before Frank got done. Mind you, she's looked after it.
The money?
Not like most of them. She's got her head screwed on where money's concerned. She must have made a packet.
So she was working here when Mellors got done?
Only she was away at the time. She didn't get involved.
Really? It's a lucky coincidence.
I reckon she must have had a tip. One of the bills.
Bills.
Coppers.
Oh.
Ian, why don't I give you my phone number? Then you can give me a ring tomorrow, can't you? Take me out to lunch. I like going out to lunch. I'm always at my best in the afternoon.
Whereupon I made my excuses and left.
Oh, yes.
You needn't look at me in that tone of voice, Harriet. I'm already booked for lunch tomorrow with a consultant paediatrician at St. George's.
Well, anyway, Ian, thanks for the effort.
No effort. It was a pleasure.
Now, where does it leave us? We've established a possible link between Joe Blake and Diane Watson, but what is the link? Do we assume he takes a cut of her profits for tipping her off about the raid? Did he even fix the raid in order to get Mellors out of the way? And whatever his angle is, how do we go about exposing him?
I'd say what we need here is a copper's instinct. Let's call Charlie Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, what do you want this time in the morning?
Well, a quiet word, Ted. In private.
What's it about, Charlie?
I'm talking about Frank Mellors.
Who? I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson. I haven't a clue what you're on about.
I'm talking about Frank Mellors, Joe Blake, and your daughter. I'm not coming through yet.
Now, look, honest to God, I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
that tart's bar where your daughter made enough money on her back to buy a lease on the joint.
I've said I can't help you. I think you better go, Mr. Thompson.
All right, Ted. We'll do it the hard way, shall we? In court. We'll have it out all nice and slow in public.
Mr. Thompson?
Don't waste my time. Either talk or keep it for the court. But you and the defence counsel are going to make of that story after I've added a few surrounding circumstantial details. Judges don't like perjury, you know, Ted. Did I not tell you? By the time you get out, you won't recognise the bloody street you used to live in.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Mr. Thompson, ease up a minute, will you? Give us a chance.
Hey, come on. Give.
Let me think.
Drinking your breakfast won't help either. Look, you might as well tell me now we can stop this thing before it goes any further.
If I tell you, not that I'm saying I've anything to tell, but if I did, if I told you now, would that mean nothing need come out? I mean, nothing in court, nothing in the papers?
If me and Mr. Elliot don't stand trial, why should it? No evidence, no trial. No trial, no publicity.
Whatever it was that you and Mr. Elliot said in there, I didn't hear it. Not a word. Now, that's God's truth, Mr. Thompson. I didn't hear what you said. For all I knew, well, Joe Blake told me what he thought was going on, and he said my evidence would clinch it. All he needed was for me to say I'd heard what you said, what you must have said.
So you were all ready to commit perjury, were you, to uphold the law? Come off it, Ted. What's Joe Blake got on you?
He's got nothing, Mr. Thompson. I owed him, that's all.
You owed? What did you owe him?
You know about Diane, that club? I had no idea, me and Betty. We thought she had a good job, decent. But Joe Blake knew. All the time he used to come in here, he knew, but he never said a word. Not till they were given their orders. Get Frank Mellors. The brass wanted him out of the way for half a dozen things, but all they could pin on him was the girls. That meant a case. Evidence. Including our Diane. Joe knew the shot could kill Betty with her heart. You know, they've always thought the world of one another, him and Betty. It's funny how some people... Well, one day he told me about Diane when the raid was planned, all of it. And I tipped Diane off. Told her to get out of the country for Betty's sake. It'll kill Betty now if it comes out. We won't have to go to court, will we? I mean, not if I say I was wrong about what I overheard. Doesn't have to all come out, does it?
get him out of my sight.
Can't be avoided, James. There has to be a prosecution against Joe Blake, and that means bringing out the whole story.
I know. If only there'd have been some other way. If only that damn girl had been willing to come back and testify in the first place, none of this need ever have happened. You know, she sent me a telegram. Willing to come back and risk all. Very touching, but just a bit late.
No guarantee her evidence would have been believed. At best, she'd have been a biased witness.
At least there was a chance we might have spared Diane's mother from what she'll have to go through now.
That's Joe Blake's responsibility, not yours.
It's ironic, isn't it? He jeopardized his career in the first place to protect her. He did it again to nail me, and if he hadn't have done that...
It was your neck or his.
In other words, we're going to risk that woman's life, whether we like it or not.
In other words, the law has to take its course, and there's nothing any of us can do about it.